everyone, I'm here with your weekly Astro report for the week of November 12th to the 18th. It is a big week ahead. We have one planet going retrograde, another one moving out of retrograde, we have another one changing signs, and this all happens around the 14th and the 15th. Thursday, Friday is going to be a time of shifting energies. We had some shifting energies last week, and we're continuing that shift into this week as well. So the big headlines are, first of all, we have a Mercury retrograde coming up. The Mercury retrograde starts at 7:33 p.m. Central Time. All times are in Central on Friday, November the 16th. So, we're already in the shadow of the retrograde, so there may be some miscommunications coming up. Of course, Mercury retrograde is famous for miscommunications. It's famous for things breaking down technologically, especially with things like phones and computers, delays in travel. We're more likely to lose things like tickets and to events and keys, things like that. So I caution people, always build in a little extra time when you're traveling. Double check things if you are signing a contract or making any kind of agreement. Just re-look at things to really make sure. And if you put your key somewhere, know where you've put it. Just take those extra little precautions. Of course, it depends where it is in your chart. Sometimes Mercury retrograde happens and you barely even notice it, and other times it's like, everything happens. So this is occurring at 13 degrees of Sagittarius. So take a look at where that is in your chart, which house it's in, to kind of give yourself an idea of where this might happen. For me, that's in the second house. So I have to make sure I look at things like double checking things with my money, with bills, anything that has to do with money, double checking things, re-looking at things, so I can, that gives you a little heads up where it might occur, depending, on your chart kind of thing. Take a look at that. So we've got Mercury retrograde. This happens 2 or 3 times a year. I think sometimes people make a bigger deal out of Mercury retrograde than it actually is. Just take those extra steps and give yourself a little extra time, and you should be okay. It is a great time, though, for redoing things, for rewriting things, for editing, for reviewing things, to looking things over. It is an excellent time for that. It's also a good time to find things you may have lost in a previous Mercury retrograde. So sometimes you find things you haven't seen in a while. So there's really good aspects to it too. It's definitely not all bad. And that, again, it has happening on Friday, November 16th. We also have on the same day, Venus moving forward on Friday, November 16th. This is at 4:51 a.m. Central Time. So same day we have Mercury going backward, Venus moving forward. Venus, when she's in retrograde, the folkloric caution and the sort of the contemporary wisdom is, don't change your hairstyle, don't change your look, don't change your clothes up, don't, it's okay to, get things like, I got my hair color refreshed. That's okay if you're doing the same thing, or you're getting a new pair of socks or something like that. But just don't change your overall look in any drastic kind of way. I wouldn't get piercings or a tattoo during a Venus retrograde. So it's moving direct. It won't be out of its shadow, I think, until the end of the month. But still, if you've been, holding off on, getting a makeover or renovating things, things will start to move forward again. It's, you can go forward with those kind of things. Being relatively certain that that is something that's going to be good at this time. So Venus moving forward is very good. It shows that too, that whatever, we've reviewed some things in our relationships over the past month or so. There's been a review of things like issues around females and things like that. Obviously, have been in the news. Beginning of October, there was a lot of talk about women's rights and things like that. So things hopefully will start to move forward again in those areas with Venus going direct. We also have Mars changing signs on Thursday as well. So Thursday, Friday, a lot of shifts going on. Mars goes into the sign of Pisces, a sign that it's not totally happy in, because Mars is a very fiery planet and Pisces is a water sign. So Mars was in Aquarius, driving us to be innovative, driving us to be curious about things, to rebel, to question things, and now he goes into Pisces, which means that people might be a little more passive aggressive just because it is in a water sign. Mars rules our desires, our competitiveness, our will, our sexuality to a certain extent. So let's take a look. So Mars in Aquarius says rebellion. So there it is, rebellion there. And then Mars in Pisces says escape. So this is interesting because it kind of brings up escape on two levels. The first is that rather than fighting, there is a desire to run away from conflict. Again, the passive aggressiveness. We don't want to directly confront things. We're more likely to go about it in a roundabout way or to try to run away from the problem. And that also goes into escapism as far as like escaping into, some people have the potential to escape into drugs or alcohol or fantasy, sex, anything that kind of gets us away from trouble. So when Mars is in Pisces, I kind of advise people to, there's certain sense, like sometimes we can't always directly confront a problem, and sometimes it isn't always wise, and we might need to do it in more subtle ways. But we want to make sure that we're not putting our heads in the sand and ignoring problems that exist or running into escapism, because that's not healthy either. So Mars is going to be in Pisces. Usually it spends about 2 months in a sign. So I think he switches over in January into Aries, which he's much more happy as he's the ruler of that sign. So just watch for that kind of energy coming up over the next while. So let's get into the day-to-day. Oh, we also have an asteroid changing sign on Monday. Ceres is moving into Scorpio on Monday. So Ceres was in Libra, which Ceres rules nurturing, motherhood, the environment. It's Mother Earth, basically. Agriculture, that kind of thing, how we nurture ourselves. So when he moves to Scorpio, it gets a little more intense. So Libra, she's very much, wanting to keep the peace and keep everyone happy. But when she's in Scorpio, Mama isn't so happy anymore. So, issues, hidden issues with motherhood or with your own mother may come up, or with kids if you are a mother. Or, if you're a parent, basically. I don't want to, be like, oh, it's just women that mother, because men mother too. So, anyway, issues around motherhood may come up, issues around food, and they may have more intensity to them. Also, we're very nurturing and protective of our sexuality during this time, and the sexuality of others as well, where there's a very protective mode going on, which can be healthy, certainly, that's for sure. So let's get on with the day-to-day. So Monday we have the moon all day in Capricorn. So Monday's a good day to get things done, get down to business, get to work, get organized, do things. There are a ton of aspects this week, even though we do have signs shifting forwards and backwards, or planets shifting forward and backwards into different, into a different sign, or direct or retrograde. Aspects, not a ton this week. Tuesday we have a void at 9:13 a.m. and then shortly after that, 9:45, the moon moves into Aquarius. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and most of Thursday, moon is in Aquarius. So, we don't always want to do as we're told. We kind of want to do our own thing because there is that rebellious energy. But we're very creative, innovative. We look at things a little bit differently. We're a little more curious about stuff. I think that's it for Tuesday and Wednesday. So no big aspects on those days. Thursday is when things get busy. We do have the moon all day in the sign of, it starts off in Aquarius. Then we have void moon at 9:58 p.m. and at 10:41 we move into Pisces, so in the evening. So we still have that Aquarius energy going on. Mercury has a square with Neptune at that time, so that's the day when we may be tempted to escape into things, to not want to talk about stuff, to run away from confronting an issue. We may not want to, take action all the time, especially if we're confronted with something. We also have Mars making a sextile with Uranus on that day. So there is opportunity for success on that day if we work with others. So rather than running away from things, especially if we're confronted with something which may be tempted to on that day, it says if we work with others, we may come across an idea that we didn't think of, because Uranus is about inspiration. And so if we work with others, there's the opportunity for success if we ask for that help on that day. We also have Mars, like I said, moving into Pisces on that day. And then Friday, moon remains in Pisces all day. Oh, I forgot to mention that Thursday we do have a quarter moon, which usually shows that any intentions that you've set at the new moon, there may be some initial conflicts that come up, or initial testing of how serious you are in that intention. So Thursday's a busy day. Friday, moon remains in Pisces, so we're a lot more dreamy. We don't really necessarily want to get it done. We're more romantic. We're more interested in things like music and dance and the arts and taking it easy, basically. That's also the day Mercury moves into retrograde. And then Saturday, we have a void moon at 2:04 a.m. and then at 9:56 a.m. the moon moves into Aries. Actually, that's on Sunday. So Saturday is also all day in Pisces. Saturday all day in Pisces. No other aspects. Sunday is when the moon goes into Aries at 9:56 a.m. And so, Friday, Saturday, we kind of don't really want to do anything. We go with the flow. Sunday is when we're more likely to take the initiative, to be driven to kind of like go for it and do things and start something new. So that's the energy for this week. So it's Thursday, Friday that are the busy days this week. These are the days when the energies shift. If you have any questions or comments at all, please put below. If you want your own astrology chart, you can go to my Etsy shop. Also, if you sign up for my newsletter on my website, I do new moon and full moon astrology newsletters, so you can kind of see what's going on for the new moon and the full moon. So if you want to sign up for that, feel free to. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And as always, peace, love,